Today on the podcast, we're talking influencing, social media, and blogging. This is the Kansas City Podcast. Welcome to the Kansas City Podcast. I'm your host, Cole Lindbergh. Many of you know me as an Olympic curler. And if not, it's nice to meet you. You know, each week here on the Kansas City Podcast, we are joined by a one-of-a-kind KC native for a conversation on life in the city of fountains. And I have found my way to Westport today. I'm in a cool, we can talk more about it later, but I'm here at Plexpod. Plexpod, thank you. I'm here at Plexpod, and I have sat down here in this nice little annex, and I'm very excited to meet my guest today and have her on the show because she's involved in many things. She wears many hats, and I'm probably going to have a million questions for you because there are certain things that you do that I just don't understand, but I'm excited to learn. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show. She's an influencer consultant, Monica Woodhams.
Hi.
Did I get it right?
Yes, you did. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being on the show. I've been messing up names really bad lately, so I'm glad that I hit it off the bat there.
No worries.
All right, so let's just go with the most general question here, because you are an influencer.
Yes.
And so when I think of influencer, I think of people that have like huge followings that have like, you know, like I know it's like a lot of, when I think influencer, I think people that do like clothes and makeup and things like that. I also think of Oprah.
Yes, she's the first influencer
She was the first
ever.
influencer. She was the one, you know, she's like, hey, put on my show. Oprah's favorite things. Yeah. So tell me, why don't you break down the bare bones for me? What makes you an influencer? What is it that like you influence?
Influence,
okay,
yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so my influence that I see for my followers is really about creating a lifestyle that is around one that's going to become one that you're obsessed with. Because, not to get too much into the backstory, but my early 20s, I went through a phase where I thought you're just not supposed to enjoy life. Oh. I just thought in your early 20s, you're just supposed to go through corporate, go through the grind, and eventually like you'll find a time in maybe your 30s and 40s where like life is fun.
There's like a set schedule of way you have to do things.
Yeah, and I realized I didn't want to live life like that. And so I started to just explore different things, wellness, fashion, just anything that I thought would light me up, and then share that so that other people could see how like you don't have to quit your job in order to have a life where you can travel and do things that inspire you, even if it's like as simple as buying a green juice in the morning.
Right. So you were finding your passion, basically.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. And so the influence that I share is really what do I do on a daily basis that brings that joy into my life, and how can I inspire them to do the same thing? Okay,
I understand now. Okay, so you talked a little bit about wellness and things like that. So is there a certain, so you're basically saying, hey, here's what I've done to make my life enjoyable. You can do this too?
Yeah.
And then like, here's how? Or like is it kind of telling people, hey, this is how you could do it and be like me? Is that the way it goes?
Yeah. So I have two audiences that you could break down. So it's the girl who's in corporate and she's cool with being in corporate, but she wants to add that extra lifestyle element to her life. And then there's the blogger who started a blog. She knows that she has a message to share with others, but she doesn't know how to get that message out there. And so that's where my consulting business comes in really helping these bloggers take their idea to the next level so that they can start monetizing and actually create a career out of their message.
Okay, so because blogging is like crazy difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard to start a blog. And I mean, I think everyone has kind of like at one point, I tried to start a blog, I was like, hey, I'm going to start a blog, and keep going. Did you have a blog?
Yeah. So I started blogging in 2009.
Okay.
So right in the beginning when no one knew what it was going to be.
Right.
I even had a YouTube channel at that time that, again, no one knew where that was going to go. And I was getting products sent to me. I was a junior in college, I think. I was having products sent to me, but again, didn't really see the full picture.
Wait, products like makeup, clothes, like what type of products?
Everything.
Oh, really?
Everything, literally. So there's this brand called Rent the Runway, and they started their business around the same time that I started my blog, and I was one of the first people to try their concept, which is they send you a dress for like a formal occasion and you wear it for that day and then you send it back, and it's like a $500 up to like $5,000 dress that you can get for a day.
Oh, wow.
And now they've blown up and now they have brick and mortars and everything, but so
you were one of the first people to try it, though.
Yeah.
And then you blogged about it?
And then I blogged about it. I wrote about, or I talked about it on my YouTube channel. Both of those no longer in existence, so don't go searching for them, y'all. But yeah, it was at the time where you literally just did it for fun and just out of curiosity. I'm always an early adopter to technology, and so to me it was just like a fun thing to experiment with.
Yeah.
So
So were you working you were in college at that
Yeah.
time? So then like when you got towards the end of college, were you like, oh, okay, you basically said it, like you got to go down the corporate grind, find a job and everything, but at the same time you were still doing the blogging and the YouTube in the background, or what did you do?
So I was determined to work in fashion.
Okay.
And I was living in Dallas, and so my dream was to work for Neiman Marcus, and that was the big dream since I was 12. Wow. So when I finally got a job there, I was like, oh, this blog thing? No, this is just going to be a distraction from climbing the corporate ladder. So I actually shut everything down. And as I was going through the motions of, a 9-to-5, which that company is amazing and it was a dream, but I'm just not geared for that.
Right.
I started to think, okay, what is it that I used to really enjoy doing at home in my spare time? And it was that blog. And so at the tail end of my career there, I created the blog again. I started going to blogging conferences because now that was a thing. Yeah. Because by this time, it was a career. It was a job, It's just funny to look back, though, because, hindsight's 20/20 and all that. But it's like, we had no idea what that could have been. Like, there was no vision in 2009 of what blogging was. It was like, okay, like, you're not going to go to this party because you want to work on your website.
I don't know why every time I think of blog, remember that show Dog with a Blog? It was it was on Disney Channel. I don't know why I know that. It was called Dog with a Blog. So like, where I was like, oh yeah, anybody can blog, even this dog blogs. so you basically were in it, and then you got out of it, and then you went back in.
Yeah.
And so was it based on that? Because I'm assuming you like shut everything down and everything. Mm-hmm. So then when you like started back up, were you like, oh no, like now there's so many more bloggers and I should never have shut it down to begin with? Oh,
I mean, I'm not going to lie. That definitely happened. And the other thing is what really got me to finally just go for it and rip off the Band-Aid was that I had so many friends coming to me being like, I want to start a blog. I want to start an Instagram. Help me do it. And I'd help them do it. And then it'd take off. And I'd be like, wait, I could be doing this. Shouldn't I be doing this instead of doing it for other people? So what's funny is now, however many years later, I now have mine and I help others really build theirs up in a way that doesn't feel like I'm doing the hard work for them, but I'm consulting them and guiding them through the process.
So since I've started this podcast and I've done this podcast, Facebook is always one of those things like, oh, your friends and family will like you start a Facebook page for your business or your podcast, or Facebook, like your friends, if you can invite your friends and stuff, super, easy to do, and you get some likes real quick and things like that. Twitter's harder because you got to interact. I have been blown away by the hashtag craziness on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, I always put like hashtag Kansas City, hashtag KC. Like, as someone that uses Instagram like crazy, because I know you're on Instagram all the time, like, is Instagram kind of like this? I've never thought of Instagram so much as like a social networking tool. I always thought it was more as like, oh, here's my picture. And now more so than ever, I feel like, oh, I've got to put more stuff on Instagram than anywhere else. Is Instagram like your cup of tea, or like what if someone's starting a blog and starting like this thing, like you got to have it Instagram, right?
I have a love-hate relationship with Instagram. Okay. So this is kind of a multi-part question and answer. So
that's fine.
First of all,
I do these really nice long questions. You should ask the people how they feel about them.
So first of all, if someone wants to start a blog, I think before they decide I have to be on Instagram, I think they have to decide, am I going to enjoy being on Instagram?
Oh, okay.
Because your audience can be anywhere. It can be on Facebook, Twitter, whatever new platform. Vero just came out. No idea what that is, but I signed up for it. So
it's like the Snapchats, they come and go, it's like
exactly. So I really believe, as a business owner, at the core, don't be somewhere where you're not going to enjoy being on it, unless you have someone that you can hire who will do it for you. Because if not, it's just going to feel like one more thing on your plate. And I believe like that those energetic vibes can really come through, and that people can tell if you're just posting for the sake of posting.
Right.
And I just think that if you want to represent your personal brand online, don't just post to post.
Got it.
That's the first part. The second part of Instagram and like the whole hashtag thing, it's funny because everyone, depending on their generation, seems to be using Instagram differently. I coach high school cheerleading, and those girls use Instagram differently than I do even. Oh. So I think hashtags kind of make it more like of a search engine in a way, where if you're searching for a hotel to stay at in Charleston, for example, like type in Charleston hotels and see which picture is the prettiest, and then decide that's the one I'm going to book.
I want to stay there in that room.
And I've done that before.
And if it does not look like this photo, I want a refund.
Exactly. So, I mean, there's just so many different ways to use Instagram. And I think that's why it's such a beast, because it's like, okay, should I be posting hashtags? Should I be posting videos? Should I do Instagram stories? I was at a business retreat last week in LA, and one of the girls was asking me, okay, so should I post after I post to my feed, after I post on Instagram stories, or the other way around?
Oh, like what's the order?
Yeah. And I was just like, overthinking it. Like, there's so much that's not in our control with these social media platforms that I think it's really important to not get obsessed with the perfectionism in it and like the right and wrong way to do it. Because
at the end of the day, if you have something that people care about, or something that like, they'll find you anyway. Like whether you had an Instagram or a Facebook, like if they see it and they like it, they'll find you. Mm-hmm. So when you're dealing with your clients, is that the right terminology I'm using? Okay, your clients and stuff, and trying to help them, build their following or drive more people to them. Is it a lot of, can you give me an idea of some of the people you work with? Or like, is it mostly like fashion bloggers? What is it?
So I have lifestyle bloggers, travel bloggers, graphic designers, really just, it's mostly bloggers, but the creative entrepreneur will be in the mix. So I have a really awesome graphic design client right now, and she does have a blog component to it, which is why it's relevant. Yeah. But the very first core work that we do together is figuring out not the social media strategy, not what you're going to do on a day-to-day basis, but what is your message? Yeah. Because if you don't have a clear and concise message, it doesn't matter if you're posting the prettiest picture ever, because people want that next level. There's thousands, millions of pretty pictures on Instagram. Yeah. So people are looking for that deeper connection.
Okay. Who's like the best at this right now? Like, is there a company out there that like is just like, oh, they figured it all out? Or a blogger out there that's like, oh, they've got this
The Skinny Confidential, for sure.
The Skinny Confidential.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never heard of this, so it's obviously not in my domain, but okay.
Yeah, so she's one of the those original lifestyle bloggers from 2008, 2009, and she has truly committed to her blog, to her brand. She's posted every single day for the past like 6 years. Like, she's
on her blog.
Whoa. And that doesn't even count everything else. And obviously she has a team now and all of that, but she really embraces her audience, and she embraces new technology and being visible and being honest. And so she has a podcast. She and her husband actually just launched a podcast production company because they saw how successful their podcast was. And she has recipe books. She has fitness books. Like, she just has created this empire based on just wanting to serve her audience, based on what her audience is looking to her for advice. And I think that's one of the biggest things to know if you're starting out as a blogger. Do this for your audience. Don't do it for yourself. Because people are going to you because they're looking for how you can help them. So if it's just all about you, then people are going to tune out pretty fast. So
basically when she first started, then I'm assuming like she was kind of like, oh, here's something I'm doing and you can do it too, or like, because if she's got her hand in that many pies, like, oh, you got a podcast, you got this, you got that, I'm going to travel this weekend, I'm going to tell you about where I'm going, stuff like that. I mean, like, is it? I'm kind of surprised and blown away by the amount of people that like grasp onto that. Like you're kind of taking your own personal brand, but you're also kind of, this is where the influencer part comes in, because you're basically saying, oh, this is something I did, now you should go try it because I had a great experience with it.
Yeah.
So how do you build that reputation? Is it just from like continued postings and things like that? Like, how can you, like, I feel like, you want to build that trust with someone, but at the same time, like, does it happen real quick, or does it like a long drawn out process?
I believe that it's a long drawn out process. I know for her, she didn't get paid for doing what she was doing till her second year in, and that's part of it because it was so early on. And also when people say like their blog just blew up overnight, I don't think that's the full story. It's not that easy to get a blog up overnight, right. And I think that it can be misleading because people think that it can be like a get rich quick thing. And that's just really not the case. Like, blogging is consistency, showing up for your audience, telling your audience that you're there for them. The bloggers that I see that are most successful are the ones having conversations with their audience. They're getting on Instagram Live and just chatting with them. They're asking them to send them an email about what they want to see next, making them feel involved and like they're part of the journey.
Wow. It's a lot of work.
It's so much work. People think that it's like the easiest thing in the world.
Because I think everybody, like even me, like, I always thought of like casually using like Facebook and stuff, like, oh, say hi to your friend. Oh, I remember when you used to poke people,
oh my gosh.
like, I want to poke you. And now it's kind of like you see these these social media marketing jobs going up and stuff like that, and you're like, how could that's insane. I know a few people that are like heavily involved in Twitter. And like they help run large companies' Twitter accounts. And, it's hilarious because they could like pull up their phone at any time and tweet something and it would go to millions of people, and so like it's almost like one of those things. It's kind of like this weird kind of dynamic of like, oh, I can buy some stuff on Amazon and then I can tweet out something to a couple tens of thousands of people, and that's all just part of the deal.
Yeah.
Like it kind of just blows my mind.
Yeah.
So where does it go from here? Like, is it going to run out? Like, are we going to run out of bloggers? Are they going to get like all of a sudden like somebody's going to say, oh no, wait, no, you can't do this anymore? Like, is this a trend that's like continuing to grow and grow and grow? Is it almost too much? Are there too many?
Right. I think that's an amazing question because I
try to do these amazing questions. I'm trying my best here.
You can really argue that the market's oversaturated.
Okay.
Because again, it's so easy to put up a website. I mean, in theory, you can put up a website in 30 minutes. It doesn't mean it's going to be good, but it's there. I don't know what the statistic is, but there's like a really high percentage of people who start a blog, but then by month 3, it's dropped off.
Right.
So technically there's a lot of bloggers, but there's not really as many bloggers who are super consistent as you would think. Yeah. The other interesting thing is that where the industry is going is micro influencers. So
man.
So brands wanting to work with the influencers who have under 20,000 followers as opposed to the 500,000. And now you're like, why? That makes no sense.
Yeah, why? Do tell.
So if you think about it, so let's say someone has 500,000 followers.
Okay.
Well, at that point, there's kind of a celebrity aspect to it. And so they're getting random followers. If it's a girl, she's probably getting a lot of dudes following her because she's hot.
Right.
Right? So at that, I mean, it's true.
When you put it that way, yeah.
She posts that one swimsuit photo and then all of a sudden.
You can buy this online, but why are all these dudes at my feet?
Right.
Yeah.
And so when a brand pays an influencer, most often they're paying them based on how many followers they have.
Okay.
So they're not taking into account how many targeted followers. So like how many women do you have? They're just looking at that big picture. But if you have 20,000 followers and they're all like millennial girls who are into makeup and you're a makeup brand, that's going to be much more targeted and worth more money than the other, because you're going to be spending a lot of money on that 500,000 follower blogger when really maybe only 40% of her audience would be targeted to what you're trying to sell.
Okay, so they're trying to find more of these little niche markets to get into.
Yeah.
So really it's that. So if someone has, at what level of followers or what level of following do companies start to take interest?
I don't think that there's a magic number. When I had 1,500 to 2,000 followers, I was working with brands and they were happy to work with me because I had good engagement. Because at the end of the day, another thing that's happening is, you know, the robots, the bots on Instagram, the fake engagement, the fake followers. And so again, honestly, I think everyone's Instagram is somewhat inflated. Like even if you're not buying followers, somehow those random spammy things are following you anyway.
I was living on Twitter like, congratulations for your 5-star tweet.
Right.
You did great.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think if you want brands to be reaching out to you, obviously, like you need to get much more visible. But if you have 2,000 followers right now, reach out to a brand. Like, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
Then say no, or like maybe they'll be like, sure, I'll send you free product. Maybe they don't send you free product, but they send you 50% off to something that you would have bought anyway. And that's a start. And that builds up your resume. So next time you can reach out to another brand and say, hey, this is my following, but I've worked with this brand, this brand, this brand. This is why I'd be great to partner with.
And so just continuing to build and build and build. See, I've learned something new today because I did not realize that a lot of times, like I know that brands would come to people, but I didn't realize that it was just kind of like a, 500,000 followers. We're going to pay you this much to talk about our product. Like, I guess I kind of knew that, but I thought it was probably a lot more complicated than that. No, that's all it is.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. And you can simplify it even more by, you being the one that reaches out to brands. I really believe in being proactive in that way and not just sitting behind your computer and just wishing and hoping and just sending that email. That being said, do it with intention. Don't send out a mass email to brands because they can tell when you're just sending them a generic email. People can tell people, like, to stop sending the mass email. Yeah. I get these all the time. I'll get a brand reaching out to me and they say, hey, I'm created this thing and it's really cool, so feature it. Right. And I'm like, I mean, first of all, stroke my ego. Like, tell me why, like, you'd be excited to be on my platform, you know?
Right.
So, and that's why I'm a big believer in just working with brands that you're excited about. And then that kind of circles back to one of your questions where you said where like the future was going.
Yeah, where's it going?
And I think that's interesting because I see it going two directions. I think if bloggers, influencers can continue to be authentic in the way that they're sharing product, then it's going to stay relevant for a long time.
Right.
However, if people get greedy and decide to only post things that are sent to them or that they're getting paid for, then the audience is going to see right through that. Because let's say I posted, a company sent me mascara. And so I'm like, this is my new favorite mascara. I love it. Go buy it. And then 2 weeks later, another company sends me mascara. And I'm like, this is my new favorite mascara. Go buy it.
Right.
Like, that's not authentic. It's not genuine. Why would someone trust me to choose their makeup when I'm just pushing whatever is going to pay me?
Right.
You know, and I think that that can be the downfall is...
Well, that's when people lose followers. That's because people seem to be pretty in tune. They're like, oh, this person's just a shill now. And they're going to just start unfollowing all the way across the board.
Yeah, and I think new bloggers are get really excited about the chance to work with a brand and have products sent to them and even get paid to post, that they just want to work with everyone and whoever, because it's just exciting and new. But really, like, the beginning stages, that's when you want to start that intention to only work with the ones that are truly a fit for you and your audience.
Gotcha. Okay. How many Instagram followers do you have?
About 11,000, 10,000,
Okay.
11,000.
So, okay. Sillier question.
Yeah.
Do you have notifications off on your phone?
Yes.
Because, like, if you post something, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, you had notification on your phone, just wouldn't stop buzzing, right?
Yeah.
Is it hard to keep up with? Like, does it drive you a little bit like crazy to like have like at your fingertips that many people, and you know they're going to like be engaged, and like I think I'd start to get overwhelmed.
Yeah. The likes and the follows, not so much as the comments, because I want to make sure that I comment to everyone.
Right.
And sometimes it just...
Which is a huge undertaking.
Right. And I just won't see it. And then I'll go back to another picture from a few days ago, and there's these comments that I didn't respond to, and then I feel bad. And I'm like, why am I feeling bad? Like, I don't need like to feel guilty about this. But one of the apps that I like, Planoly, sponsor me. No.
I'm sure they listen. We're growing in popularity.
Yeah. They have it so that you can use it on the desktop, and then there's like, you can click on comments and then reply to comments on your desktop, which does help. I don't always stick to it. But
yeah, because otherwise you'd be staring at a little phone screen all day long.
Exactly. And that is one of my messages for my clients, is creating a business around your blog that doesn't make you sit behind your computer and your phone 24/7.
Wow. Because
as an influencer, it's really easy to feel like you have to post every little thing and be glued to your phone.
Right.
And honestly, and the reason behind that is affiliate links. So I post these shoes, and if someone clicks on it, then I get money for that. But that's not a huge income stream. So you're, in theory, obsessing over something that isn't even really going to bring that much in if you have a small following under 20K.
Right.
So I teach my clients how to create other streams of income that allow them to have more time to, again, enjoy life, get out there, explore, do the things that actually inspire them to then write about.
Wow. I'm kind of blown away, because, you know, you think about, we're all just so crazy, like, in love with our phones all day long and stuff. And like the amount of time and energy that goes in to keep up with that stuff, especially people that have a lot of followers, it kind of blows my mind, because I've never had like that huge, crazy amount of following, like kind of, you know, but not really. And so to think about how someone like is focusing on that and trying to figure out how to build that brand and build themselves up to get that amount, you know, the amount of work that goes into it has got to be exhausting.
No.
No?
No.
Because if you post like one good picture and then you get like does it like
Because
it has
I
these
don't put a
bumps?
lot of weight on my Instagram.
Okay.
Well,
Well, then what about blog following? Or like if somebody posts a blog?
Same thing. So here's the thing. My main income stream is consulting.
Okay, right.
So, and the reason for that is because I used to put a lot of weight on my blog traffic, on my Instagram traffic and engagement, and it was stressful, and I obsessed over it, and I checked my phone 24/7, and I knew I didn't want to run my business that way.
Got it.
So I shifted my business in a way that I can have the majority of my income stream coming from a way that feels good.
Right.
And that is what I work with my clients. So for example, my travel blogger client, she's creating services that are basically bundles where she helps millennials who want to travel on a budget. She'll find the flights for them. She'll kind of, I mean, in a way, it's like a travel agent, but it's like, you know, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's geared towards millennials who maybe they don't want to study abroad and they just want to go on a 2-week trip to Europe, but they don't even know if that's realistic for them.
Right.
And she really teaches them how to find the flights. She'll even do it for them. She's really into like motivation and inspiring based on her story, and planning trips for people so that they can rediscover themselves. So that's her niche. And then
looking at the larger thing, like the larger subject. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I have another client who's a lifestyle blogger, and people are always coming to her because they're like, how's your Instagram feed so beautiful? Okay, so there we go. That's her service. Help other people create their Instagram. So she doesn't do social media across the board. Her niche is just helping people get their Instagrams on brand.
Wow.
So when they create these other streams of income through services or programs, that brings in a lot more money than an affiliate link.
Yeah.
And it's still work, but it's not being glued to your phone 24/7, posting a picture of your shoes, your outfit, which for me, that became unfulfilling.
Right.
Posting a picture of my outfit every day. Some people love it. I still post pictures of my outfits, but that can't be the only thing that I do.
Gotcha. Okay, I get it now. That's because, so really you're, like you just said, you're really trying to find and help your clients find that thing that will not only be fulfilling for them, but like what's the avenue that's going to get it so they're not staring at their phone all day, that they can look at the work that they're doing, be proud of it, help other people along the way, because that's a big thing right now is like social, trying to like companies that help social causes, right? That's a huge deal right now. So I guess I was wrong, because I just like, I always think like, oh, it's just somebody hanging out on their computer, like posting crap all day. Yeah. But it's starting to sound like it's getting out of that. Like, it's like, if you can find your audience and find ways to monetize them to like, here, you can click on this link, great. Or we can take it a step further. So you've got to be a very charismatic personality to do that. Would you agree with that? Or is it just more about the service? That's because like when I think influencer, you always think of like celebrities, and you always think of like people. So you think of people with big personalities and stuff like that. But does it go that way?
It's so funny because most influencers are introverts.
What?
It's so funny going to blogging conferences.
How can that be possible?
And everyone is so shy.
Stuff out to tens of thousands of people a day.
Well, I mean, think about it. Think about when... And I'm an introvert as well, and so...
You don't talk like an introvert.
So when blogging first started, it was something that you were just kind of doing for fun on your computer.
Well, yeah, you'd like go out there like, oh, I can't believe she broke up with me.
Yeah. So if you kind of think about the roots of it...
Okay. Yeah, okay.
It's a way to, share your voice in a way that's not as scary as going to a networking event. Yeah. I hate going to networking events. I hated that in corporate. Oh my gosh. I would beg friends to go with me so I didn't have to go by myself.
Yeah.
Blogging events I always loved going to because I felt like everyone was kind of like there to meet other people, and a lot of people did go by themselves. So that I always vibed with really well. But it's funny because you will meet these major influencers in person and you're like, oh, you're just like me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh. I'm learning so much today. This is so intriguing to me. All right. We're going to take a quick break here shortly. But before we go, I have one final question.
Yes.
What can I do to get more people in Kansas City to listen to the Kansas City podcast? Any great ideas?
Okay.
Let's just look at podcasting as it is right now.
Yeah.
I release an episode every week.
Yeah.
I'm consistent.
Yes.
Right? I've got the consistency. I send out the messages. I ask people. I do call for actions. I ask them to give me reviews.
Yes.
Things like that. A lot of times it's 1 star, but they still give me reviews. Every now and then, you know what I do? I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will boost that Facebook post for $5.
Right.
You know, why not?
You've tempted me, Facebook.
It's $5. You know, I get a $5 credit. Maybe I'll push it that way. Is there anything I'm not doing right now that you can think of? Like, come on. This is what you help people.
What if, like, tapping into that influencer audience? Like, who are the influencers in Kansas City?
Well, that's why you're on the show.
Well, give me a second. Okay. So, if you just got, like, the influencer in Kansas City to be obsessed with your podcast and them to talk about it, like, literally get them when they're in their car to take a picture of, you know, when you have like the GPS thing, but it says like what podcast you're listening to. There's a lot of podcasts I've started listening to just because someone who I follow like was like, this is what I'm listening to.
Now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Like, okay, for example,
I must be the weirdo then. I don't do that.
Same with books. I screenshot books all the time when someone who last night someone was reading a business book and she shared it on Instagram and I screenshotted it, and then an hour later I was like, oh, let me just download a sample of that on Kindle.
Yeah. Wow.
So I mean, don't underestimate who might be watching other people's feeds.
Very interesting.
Also, I think an event could be really cool.
Well, that's what I was hoping to build up to, like, you know, we'll have a 1-year anniversary, you know, or reach the 100th episode. I'd love to do like a live show.
Especially because people are craving in-person experiences. I went to a retreat last week, and being in person with everyone just was like such a refreshing thing when you're in the online space all the time. Yeah. You know, and I think people love going to events. Influencers love going to events because it's stuff that they can take pictures of. And again, I think that could be a really cool way to create a community around the podcast instead of just something that you listen to.
Got it. I'm writing all this down. We are going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Monica Woodhams. How do you do? Hope you're enjoying today's episode with Monica Woodhams. I want to give a special shout out. Yes, a special shout out to Elizabeth Braverman, who was our 200th like on Facebook. That's right, our Facebook page, facebook.com, the Kansas City Podcast. Elizabeth, you are number 200. This is your shout out. Thank you for liking the page. I wish there was more I could do. Maybe you're a future guest. Who knows? But Elizabeth, congratulations. And remember, folks, if you're listening for the first time, go check out our Facebook page. Check out our website. Follow us on Instagram. You know, we've been talking about Instagram on today's show. So thank you, Elizabeth, for continuing to spread the joy and cheer of the Kansas City Podcast by liking our Facebook page. Mucho apreciado, señorita. Back to the show. Welcome back to the Kansas City Podcast. I am Cole Emery. I'm here with Monica Woodhams.
Hello.
Did I say it right again?
Yes, you did.
I'm doing
Two
good.
for two.
2 for 2. Man, I'm on fire. Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What's the most, what was the highest number of likes you ever got on Instagram? It's like a couple thousand, maybe?
Oh my gosh. I don't, probably. Okay. Like, yeah.
I got 40 once. Is that good?
I mean, if they don't count friends and family.
Oh, no, I think that's all friends. Well, I'll think about it. Okay. Hey, do you want to take the Casey quiz?
Yes, I do.
All right. Okay, Monica, you know how this works. I'm going to ask you questions, Kansas City related. You will be rewarded points, okay? Remember, if there's a question that you don't like, you can always just say, stupid question. Remember, folks, you can tweet us at Kansas City Pod if you'd like your question added to the Kansas City quiz. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
We always start with this question. Favorite restaurant that is not barbecue? Your favorite KC restaurant that is not barbecue?
Boulevard Tavern.
Boulevard Tavern.
Yeah.
Very nice. What do you get there?
So for brunch, I get the chilaquiles.
Okay.
So good. Honestly, that's the thing that I've gotten most often there recently.
Yeah.
But everything's good. That's why I like going there, because it's just consistently good, and I think it's underrated.
Okay. Yeah, it is underrated. I would say that for sure.
I don't think people rave about it as much as it should be.
Well, you are now.
I am now.
And you're influencing all these people. How do you feel about that?
Well, don't take my spot at brunch.
Yeah, okay. Here we go. All right, second part of that question is favorite barbecue. Are you a barbecue person?
I am.
Okay. Oh, this is this is the question that causes like the most like thought process / like debate.
That's when you know you're from Kansas City.
Yeah.
So Oklahoma Joe's, and I'm gonna call it Oklahoma Joe's right now.
Yeah.
That is what I grew up on.
Okay.
So to me, that's it. That being said, I don't go there anymore because I'm not about to do the line thing. And the last time I had it was catered.
Oh, okay. So it's still Oklahoma Joe's, but it's got to be like a perfect special occasion to go to stand in the line.
Yeah, I don't believe in standing in lines.
Okay.
This is a moral thing that I won't go anywhere and wait in a line.
You're done standing in lines. Okay. Well, so I'll give you 5 points. Speaking of lines, what's your favorite ride at Worlds of Fun?
Oh God, no. No, I will not go to Worlds of Fun.
Really?
There are too many horror stories with roller coasters. I mean, the only one I can even remember was the Mamba, but I don't even know if that's still a thing. It's been that long since I went to.
It's still there.
Okay. See, and that makes me nervous.
If you want to hear some World of Fun horror stories, I can help you with that. Here we go. Let's see. So I'm going to give you 1 point.
Okay, that's fair.
Favorite local event? Do you have a favorite local event you go to every year, or anything that like you've gone to before that you're like, man, that was fun?
No, but I can think of a traumatizing experience from middle school.
Okay, favorite traumatizing event. Here we go. I'm changing it up.
My mom's Spanish. She's from Spain, and so for the ethnic festival when I was in like middle school, she and her friends would get together and have a booth and that whole thing.
Yeah.
And her friend really wanted me to get dressed up in like the traditional flamenco outfit and walk on stage where like everyone like showcases their country's outfits.
I think I know where this is heading.
And I got there and I looked at what that could have been, and I was just like tears, like, Mom, you cannot make me do this, not make me do this. And don't think I've ever been back to the ethnic festival after that.
Okay.
So
favorite local event, not the ethnic festival.
It's great. It is great. They have great food. That's just a personal thing.
Got it. Okay. 1 point. Here we go. Your next question. How do you feel about the streetcar?
Oh, I love this topic. I get on rants about this all the time with my friends.
Okay.
I do.
I am hoping
I'm going to probably
soon,
make people mad.
Very soon, we may be talking a lot more about the streetcar here on the podcast. That's a little hint. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I'm ready for this. What is your opinion on this?
It does nothing for me right now. Like, great concept, but to me, I think it's just for tourists. like, what if, okay, so am I going to take my car to park it at Union Station to then go to Power and Light? No. I'll just keep driving. I'll just Uber. And because I don't want to deal with parking. And I just think I don't live in the Crossroads. So if I lived in the Crossroads, then I would maybe do it. But it just seems like such a like thing that everyone got so excited about changing the game in Kansas City. And then it was here, and now it's been here for what, how many years now? 2 years?
Yeah, like something like that, yeah.
And everyone was just so excited. And I remember being like, are you going to take it? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay. So, like, let's, like, don't act like all of a sudden Kansas City's New York City.
I don't think anyone did.
When you're not even going to take it. I mean, once the Brookside stop opens, that's a game changer.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
But right now, the last time I took...
It's a game changer if it expands, right?
Yeah, but the last time I took it was because we went to Grinders and we're day drinking, and we're like, wouldn't it be fun to ride the streetcar? And we did. But that was pretty much it. So I just think right now it's a thing for tourists because they can get from their hotel at Crown Center to the game at Sprint Center. But
there you go.
I just don't see it being like the Kansas City game changer.
Got it. Okay. All right. 5 points. Your favorite bar?
Favorite bar?
You got a favorite place to go day drinking?
No.
If you have more than one, it's okay.
Jack's.
The what?
Jack's. Oysters and Fish House. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
If you give me some champagne and oysters, I'm happy.
Do you have a favorite local brew?
No.
No? Mm-mm. You cocktails?
Yeah.
Wine?
Yeah, I mean, no beer. Just no beer.
Okay. 2 points. Do you ever go see any concerts? You got a favorite place to go see a show? Favorite venue?
No, and my answer is because I lived in LA and Dallas when I turned 21.
Okay.
And then I just moved back to Kansas City 3 years ago. And so I feel like I kind of missed that point in Kansas City where I was like going to places and things like that.
I understand. Because
now I feel old.
You grew up here and then you
Yeah.
left and then you kind of came back. So
Yeah.
now you're at that age where you're like, I don't need to go to the shows.
Or like I'm too tired to deal with crowds.
Okay, I gotcha. That one makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
Here we go. I've got your next question here for you. Paul Rudd or Jason Sudeikis? Which one's better?
Well, I really appreciate that Paul Rudd wore his KU baseball hat in Clueless.
Okay.
So that might be my answer.
Okay.
Solely based on that.
Perfect.
That Clueless is one of my favorite movies, and the KU hat shout out.
2 points. One word to describe the KC airport. You travel a lot, right? Mm-hmm. How do you feel about the airport? First, give me one word, and then tell me how you feel.
Hungry.
Hungry?
I'm hungry at the airport because I can't find food.
Okay. Okay.
That's how I feel.
So let's expand further.
Okay.
Do you think, what do you think about the airport?
I'm glad that we're getting a new one.
Okay.
I think if we didn't, then like Omaha would, and all of a sudden we'd be doing connect flights in Omaha.
Oh, yeah, and we don't want that.
We don't want that.
That's
it's already
so
hard enough to get a direct flight somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a necessary thing. I have friends who are not from Kansas City, and if they fly Southwest a lot, they connect in Kansas City.
Okay.
And they dread seeing you're going to be connecting in Kansas City because either it means there's no food,
mm-hmm.
or it means leaving the gate and then having to go back through security.
Yeah.
And like, really?
Yeah.
Also, I was looking the other day, and the walls on the other, so like that divides the gate and the hallway, they don't go up all the way. So you could like throw stuff over, and a friend told me he saw someone throw like a bag of pretzels over to someone once, and I was like, okay,
that's a good idea.
So...
That's how I'm gonna get fed. I'm gonna throw pretzels over the top.
Yeah.
Okay. A couple questions left here for you.
Okay.
if you have friends that come in from out of town, right? What's the one thing in town everybody should try at least once, or go do or try? Like, if they come into town, what are you going to take them to say, here you go, here's the Kansas City experience?
I'm laughing because
Yeah, why are you laughing? It's a really good question.
growing up, it's like we always took people to the Steamboat Arabia Museum, and I don't even know why I've been to that museum so many times.
So guys, here's the deal.
And
we're going to the city market. City market. Yeah, to see a steamboat.
And if you see like a game that takes place in Kansas City, like on ESPN, and they always do the footage right before commercial break, and it's always Steamboat Arabia.
Yes.
But
so that's what you're going with.
That's
okay.
Where would I take them?
Yeah, where would you go?
That's a great question.
It's a tough one, right?
I mean, I'm one of those people that when I go on trips and then when people come visit me, all we do is go from restaurant to restaurant.
Okay.
So it'd probably be just like going to my favorite restaurants.
Okay.
That's my answer.
Perfect. I like it. 5 points. We got 2 questions left here. Favorite local hangout? Favorite place to just go hang out? A park, a street.
I love going on walks at Loose Park. I used to live walking distance, and I just go on like 3 p.m. when I was getting tired. I just go on a walk there.
Okay.
Not when it's cold out, and not when it's hot out. So spring and fall, I like walks at Loose Park. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. There's no right or wrong answer here. Don't worry. Don't let the points confuse you. 2 points. Is it plaza or plaza?
Plaza.
Plaza? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, but if you ask my boyfriend, he will say that's very incorrect.
Well, for him, we're going to give you 5 points. Here we go. It's time. This is the final question here on the Casey quiz. We always do what's called the Google challenge.
Okay.
Okay, the Google challenge. It's pretty simple. I have gone to Google.
Okay.
And I have typed in a sequence of words or a phrase, and I'm letting Google autofill the final word here. Okay, this is one of my favorite things in the world to do. So what I did was, this is pertinent to you. I typed in blogging is blank. Fill it in for me. Google challenge. Blogging is, what are people saying here on the Google?
Dead. Blogging is dead.
You got it exactly correct. Blogging
No
is
way.
dead is number
Amazing.
1. You know your audience.
I do.
Blogging is dead. So blogging is hard was number 2. And what do you think about this one? Last one was blogging is not a job. That's kind of mean.
I think that's mean, but I could see why people would Google that, because they meet people who are kind of like half doing it.
Okay.
And I mean, it's more common to meet someone who's started a blog and it isn't a job than it is to meet someone who has a blog and it is a job.
But as far as we can tell right now, blogging is not dead.
No. I think like what blogging was 10 years ago is not the same as it is today, and accepting that. You know, like things change. So while blogging is dead, you know, now it's more influencing, and maybe we use a different word, but at the end of the day, it's the same principles that you're sharing your opinion to others.
So all these people are going on Google saying blogging is dead. They're dead to us, right? They're
over it.
Let me add up your points here.
Okay.
You did really well. Let's see here.
So official.
You're 39 points. Congratulations.
39 out of how many?
Out of, I don't know, 50, I think.
Okay.
We can look on the...
Okay.
Yeah, you did fine. You did good. Don't worry. It's really hard to get a lot of points on the Casey quiz. It's a very difficult process. Monica, thank you so much for taking the Casey quiz.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me ace it.
I think you got a C.
You don't know that.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, Monica, we are actually nearing the end of our time today. It has been fantastic. I have learned so much today about influencing and stuff that I've got to think about this, because if I have any other influencer questions along the way, can I ask you?
Yeah.
Okay, because I may have to reach out to you and be like, hey, what does this mean? Because
Yeah.
it's a very crazy, interesting world, and I'm kind of blown away by it. So I hope that the folks that our listeners enjoy that aspect of it today. Yeah. This is your time to shine. It's your time to give some plugs, tell people where to find you, and take it away. It's on you now.
So on Instagram, I'm Monica Woodhams. Woodhams is Woodhams.
Not hams.
Not hams.
It's not Woodhams.
But it's spelled Monica Woodhams.
Okay.
So if you're hungry, you'll remember that. So you can find me there, and on there I have a link that takes you to my free video training series called From Broke Blogger to Digital Boss. So if you feel like you're that broke blogger right now and know that you could be doing so much more, definitely check out that free video series. It shares all my secrets of how my clients have taken their blogs to the next level. And then my website is monicawoodhams.com.
Perfect. And we will have a link to that on our website, thekansacitypodcast.com. Make sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Kansas City Pod. And of course, you can always follow me on Twitter at Cole Lindbergh. Monica, thank you so much for being on the show today. Really appreciate it. We had a great time. Final thoughts. Anything else?
Final thoughts? This was so much fun.
Well, great.
Flew by.
That's right. Time flies when you're having fun, right?
And let's get that live event going.
Yeah, we'll work on it. All right. We will see everybody next time here on the Kansas City Podcast. See you later.